Welcome to the Breathe Conversations. This series explores how people operate as responsibility, ambition, and pressure grow over time. These are not burnout stories, and they're not about fixing anything. They're calm, honest conversations about awareness, capacity, and what helps performance last. Today, I'm joined by Rupen. Thank you very much for being here. How are you?
Very, very well. Pleasure to be on here with you, Katie.
Good. Well, why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I am firstly, I'm husband. That's hard work, I've been told by the wife, and we've got four children who range from 22 down to 7. So a real mix of ages, etc., which brings a whole new dynamic to the family, which is also brilliant, but also very challenging at times. A lot of the time. And we run two businesses. One is Master Properties, where we build our own portfolios for ourselves, which is HMOs and buy-to-lets, but we're moving into blocks of flats. And we've also got our own interiors business. So I predominantly run the Master Properties business, working with investors, and we also got our refurbishment teams. And then we've got KWT Interiors, which Tracy runs, who's my wife, and I'm operational there, which is pretty much 20-30% of my time there, 70% of my time in Master Properties. And that does interiors, working with high-end developers with their kitchens and their bedrooms and their media walls and all the rooms that you could want for when you're doing a house out. We do the one-stop shop. And that's pretty much a design-led manufacturing and deliver service. And then on top of that, I'm Secretary Treasurer for BNI, which is Business Networking International. Obviously, I work with Property Entrepreneur as a host. Just started that, so it's exciting and very good, and it's quite time absorbing, and it all blends into what we're going to be talking about today. And then I'm the head coach of a little rugby team, under sevens, which is also challenging and time absorbing, but it's all brilliant. So life is quite busy, and that's me in a nutshell.
And you have just mentioned like 20 things there. How are you balancing that? And how do you sort of balance that level of responsibility day to day with so many different things that you're trying to do at once?
Yeah, no, so that's an excellent question. And it's when I look back at it and go, oh my God, how did I do all that? It's quite overwhelming when you see the diary. But I think that is it. That is the key, is diary management is one. There's a mantra I use, and it's so very true. You can do and you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So what I try to do is what I'm focusing on is delegation is everything as well. And I'm not talking about, obviously, when it comes to the businesses, it's like you know, removing the heavy lifting stuff where you can outsource it or give it to somebody else for their job role. But even the social side of it and voluntary side of things like BNI, etc., I just utilize people. If someone does a little bit, then we move the needle forward. And I think it's just that having that art of delegation, but without calling it delegation seems like, finger pointing and quite draconial. It's not. It's just like, it's getting people to help you, that has also got an interest. It's an interest for them to help you as well because they're moving forward. So yeah, I think people and organizing diary is really important, really important. And also is when to say no is really important. I think that's really key. And that's something I learned to do coming out of my corporate. So my corporate business, Katie, so I worked for Magnet Kitchens. So from a warehouse boy back in 96 all the way to 2020, that into 25 years, I went from warehouse lad, putting away units and sheets of MDF and trade, and then moved up into the boardroom over a 25-year career as a regional director, which was brilliant. In that time, I know the topics about, but not topics only about burnout, but the talk about burnout, that's where I probably felt it the most. And it creeps up on you, doesn't it? I know we spoke before, and it just creeps up on you, and you don't know it's there. But there was some when I look back at it, the actions I was taking and what I was doing were all evident of burnout. So yeah, and that's what I did. And then after once I come to 25 years in Magnet, I come to the young age of 50. I had loads of energy. I wanted to go and do my own thing. The one thing I'd say with Magnet and when I was there was I was always, albeit I used to call myself the PAYE entrepreneur because I was like all my side hustles and property, and I was doing all this in the background, which probably compounded the fact that I was probably getting burnt out a little bit more. But then coming out of that, I was in a really good position to let go of Magnet and shake hands and go and sort of follow my dreams.
And when you did that, was there like a point where you thought, I need to get out of this now? Or was it like a slow progression that you were always working towards exiting Magnet and working for yourself? What was your sort of like plan with that? Did you start property as a hobby? Did you start these businesses with the intention of going full time?
No, no. I always thought it was just like wealth creation, building, yeah, and it was very traditional portfolios, only like a few like buy-to-lets. But I did love property as well because I understood once you got it right, it can just pay forever and ever and ever, as long as so there was I had some harsh learnings though, like doing the PAY in property. I had some harsh learnings. Um, so when I was so go the first part of that question was I fell out of love with it. I absolutely loved the corporate. I think I'd still be here if certain changes didn't happen in the company. I love the company. I love what I did. I was calmed down and understood when I was feeling browned out or burned out. You know the difference, right? The browning out is you're on that journey, but just knowing when to pull the cord on the parachute, right? So, but here's the thing: when you fall out of love with something, you've got to go. Right. And so it was about year 22, 23. There were some big macro changes happening. Now I'm fine with change and I love change and I can embrace it. A lot of people can't. I get it. But this change was like, it was really performing, but this was quite a macro change that would have changed the landscape. I'm going, do you know what? I've gone through this 5-year cycle several times. I'm going, I just don't want to do this. So I just had a real serious word with myself, a bit of a checkup from the neck up, and went, "Do I really want this?" And then that then sort of stretched over like a 18-month period. And I kept saying to Tracy, I'm falling out of love with this. I'm falling out of love with this. And there's one of my other things is if you are talking about the same thing a lot, it's either for two reasons, a good reason or a bad reason. And I was going like, I needed to do, it was a bad reason. I needed to do something out with it. And I guess there's this thing called manifestation. And then lo and behold, as I was falling out of love with it, they'd done this macro change. Very, very long story short, they wanted a meeting to discuss the new restructure. And for 20 odd years, I've always said yes. And this time I said no. And he goes, well, we need you to do this role. So I said, well, I don't really want to do it. And they said, oh, okay. So what are we going to do about it? I said, I don't know. What are you going to do about it? And it was a little package and it was done. And we shook hands, give each other a little bit of a hug, and then we moved on.
Amazing. And I know that we've spoken in the past about knowing what to say no to, knowing what to say yes to, actually really thinking about that and not just saying yes to everything. Because we're both quite impulsive personalities. We are keen to try new things, get on new opportunities, and make the most of what we have. So, have you always been good at saying no? Or has it been something that you've built up over time?
Built up over time, 100%. You got to develop that. Yeah, there's a book I read. It says go for no, but that's my sales. That's to win customers. But then I sort of reverse engineered it. So what one of my old directors, good lad he was, and good man, and he used to say no to everything. And I said, why do you keep saying no? He goes, it's when I go back to people and say, yes, I can do it. So I'm in control. It's not impulsive, and you've measured it as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm not brilliant at it. I'm still pretty, prone to saying yes to a few too many things. But I just try to stay away from it now. And yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. I'm with you, Katie. Saying no is an art.
definitely. And I think
It
it's
needs
something that
discipline.
with entrepreneurs, business owners, we want to say yes to everything because we have that fear of missing out on an opportunity. And I
Yeah.
think that's what generally drives us to say yes, even if we don't necessarily want to do it. But
Mm.
like you said, when you're thinking about something or you've fallen out of love with something, that's generally an indication that we shouldn't be doing it. And I
Mm.
think that's sometimes we have to listen to our emotions rather than our brain as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. And I don't think we do that enough.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just, and also know your boundaries as well. We need to listen to ourselves big time. And I didn't used to listen to myself because we was listening to other people, and people actually were controlling me. So I said, well, if how can how can I move forward? How can I progress? How can I deter myself away from feeling from that browned out or burnt out feeling if I'm being a yes man to everybody? So
Yeah.
yeah, you've got to stop. Yeah, absolutely.
And you've mentioned brown out a few times, and I know you've explained it for your definition as like kind of going through that process to get into the burnout stage. What does it look like to you compared to full burnout? So, what does being browned out to mean to you?
So it's more of a feeling rather than look, right? Yeah, yeah. Actually, let's look at the look. You just know in the mornings you look tired. You know, your eyes are watering. Really, you should be by 9 o'clock. You should have your energy. But if you're still yawning and still, feeling that you kind of don't want to be here today, and I could just really do with, just staying in bed. When you start thinking like that, and if you have been regular for a period of time doing the work, but all of a sudden, overnight or over a couple of weeks, you think, oh, I just don't want to do this today. I don't want to speak to them today. These were the first signs of it. So, how you look in the morning, you like your eyes, you're yawning, how you feeling, what's the energy like? Are you feeling a little bit? Are you feeling a little bit lethargic? Um, what else was there? Comfort food. That's another
Mhm.
one. All these little things. When I look back at it, I wanted a beer on a Wednesday night. I never drinking. I was, and what these were, they were little escapes. They were little dopamine hits. These are, and then also negative feelings, negative thoughts. Other ones that browning out. You go to a meeting and you're not performing, or you've not been on your best game. All these things were sort of sleeping as well. Sleeping as well was, you're tired in the evenings before, and like I mean, I go to bed early now because I'm up early now, but I was going to bed early and not wanting to get up again. Not for the fact because I wanted more sleep. I probably did, is my body didn't have the motivation. So that's the signs of burnout, a brown out to me. And then you can imagine
And
flicking it
it
over.
slowly takes over.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of people don't recognize these signs at first. They just think they're a little bit tired. They think that they've maybe just done a little bit too much, need a bit of extra time in bed. Do you actually notice these signs in yourself when you're getting to that point now? Was it something that you noticed the first time round? Did you sort of leave it the first time round, but now you recognize it? Do you still get any of these warning signs?
I do, yeah, yeah, yeah. I do. There was, I think it was last year, a year before, where I've had about 3 or 4 different refurbishments going on at the same time, and kitchen business was having some obstacles, but also very busy. Was trying to build systems, and if Tracy's not in a good place, then that also comes back on me naturally because I'm a protector, and that's my profile. I'm a protector. I'm a loyal sort of person, so I want to make sure that she's good. And then we've got the kids, and it was quite a like bit of a perfect storm going on. And I just said, "Shh, right," just I felt it, and I go, and then I just did them. I just did them quick changes. Was change my diet, making sure I'd got to check in with my diet. I didn't change my diet. I'd got to check in with it. Let a few things go. Up the intake of water. Making sure I was going to bed at night. Saying no to a few things, a few more things that weren't important. They might have been urgent, but they weren't important. And I think that's a real fine line balance. What I learned is that the difference between urgent and important and urgent. I lent on a few more people. So that was a change of it. And it's okay to go and have a little spa. And like well, our gym's got a spa. We're fortunate to have, have that facility. Just go in there and go and chill out for a little bit. Or even go for a walk. You know what I mean? It's just like go and clear your head, read a book. What I didn't do was head for a box of chocolates or a couple of beers. I think that is also an accelerator towards burnout because you're not getting the recovery.
Definitely, and they massively affect you in ways that people don't really realize. But most of the things you just mentioned there that you do when you start recognizing the signs, they're very small things. They're not like major things. They don't cost any money to do. They don't cost more time to do. It's just stuff that you do every day. You're just adjusting at what level you do it.
Mhm.
We obviously we've spoken previously, and like I've said, like the best gift that you can give to others is the being the best version of you.
Yeah.
And you perfectly said that it's like putting the oxygen mask on yourself when you're on a plane. So
Mm.
how the hell are you meant to help other people if you don't do that? So if you were to sort of pick the top three things from your day to day life that you do at the moment, which you think make a massive impact on how you feel, how you function, your energy levels, what would they be?
Top three, I think one of the things that I've been really consistent about is I call it MMT. It's called morning me time. Now, I think I've
Nice.
mentioned this to you before, right? So it's morning me time. My sacrifice is I will get up an hour before anybody else and I won't do anything until 8 o'clock. So I'm up at 5 until 8. Them 3 hours are mine. They're just non-negotiable. In that time, I have read. I have only 2 or 3, 4 pages. That's it. 'Cause I'll do the rest of my reading in the evening. I've read. I have washed and cleaned and get ready for the day. I have meditated, prayed, stretched. I've had coffee. I've had water. I've had a gym session, and I've had my normal 15-minute hot sauna, cold shower. I'm showered and ready by 8 o'clock, ready to go for the day. That is just an absolute non-negotiable for me. The sacrifice there is I wake up at 5. People go, oh, I can't believe you. I get people are night owls, and even though some early birds still think 5, but then what for me to operate at 5 o'clock in the morning, what do I need to do before that for me to have I'll talk about sleep in a moment, but like I'm good. I can operate on a whole day on a good 6 to 7 hours. I'm on form. I don't need more than that. I'd love to have it. I just my body, my clock don't let me do it. So knowing that, I need to be in bed and sleeping by 9:30, 10 o'clock. Is that a sacrifice? No, because my next day, the sacrifice I made there is made my next day a lot more efficient, a lot more I embrace it a lot more. I'm better performing within that day and within that period. So yeah, the reward is you're gonna have a good day the next day if you sacrifice a little bit from the day before. And I'm not one to watch TV now. In fact, I spoke to you last week, right? My new hack is I've got these they're called music, cozy music. So they're little headphones. So there's no screen time on in the evening. So I put these headphones in and then I'll read my book, put these in. You might listen to a little bit of sleep meditation music or even a podcast, whatever. I'm gone I don't even get to 10 minutes of it. I'm gone. But the beauty thing, these little things, they're eye blinds as well. And I didn't realize with sleep, Katie, that I was getting a lot of light pollution and my sleeps has got the eye blinds have been brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm a changed man, really, because even Tracy says, "Today, what today?"
You mentioned quite a few interesting things there, and that the first thing that I picked up is that you do all of this me time first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
Not only are you having time for yourself, which is really important, especially when you have a lot going on, you've got older kids, younger kids, a partner, the businesses, it's really important to have that solo time as well. But you said that you meditate, you pray, you stretch, you go to the gym, you're using the sauna. All of this stuff is shifting you into your rest and digest state as well. So it means that you're a lot more relaxed going into the day. And I think a lot of business owners make the mistake of they roll out of bed and they get straight on the laptop. and they're
Mm.
in fight or flight mode immediately. They're trying to put out fires, and that sets them up for the rest of the day, because how you start is how you finish.
Mm.
And what you've said is really interesting, because you are you're generally quite a calm person. You've got a lot of energy about you, in terms of you've got the fire, you've got the spirit, but you're not like chaotic. You're quite calm. When you speak to you, you know what you're talking about. You know the
Yeah.
plan for the day, and that all makes a lot of sense. And also, this going to bed at the same time every night, and the light pollution. I can imagine that before you did all of that, getting to sleep used to take a lot longer.
Yeah, you used to like nod off. You used to nod off and then wake up again. And because
Yeah.
I've had that little, I guess that little power nap, and then I'm up until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Like I put the blinds on, a little bit of music, I'm gone. Right, and they're really comfortable to wear. I'm not advertising these things, but it's not a plug. Uh, that's just been a bit of a game changer. I was that many
Yeah.
years old before I found them, and it well. And the thing, like we stay at the Belfry with PE, etc., with Property Entrepreneur, and or if I stay at my in-laws in Peterborough, so we live in London, it's like the light pollution and the noise. Like we live on quite a busy road, we're quite a setback off of it, but as much as you get used to it, you don't know how much of effect that has on you. So when I go to like where it's quiet, really tranquil, the sleep, my sleep is so much better, so much better. Really, like a significant amount. So even these little simple blinds has made a massive difference. Yeah, a massive difference on it. But also, just on that morning, all of them elements don't take too long, Katie. The longest part of it is my workout, which is from door to door and completed is 1 hour of the day, but it's my hour.
Yeah. And
So
you
yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I learned, you don't switch. Of course, you switch on, but you get daylight first thing in the morning. It doesn't start until I think it's 9, 10 o'clock. 'Cause you've done all of that. I think he was telling me, and I thought that
Yeah.
I learned from that, and it was really aligned with what I'm doing. So I'm ready to go. But here's the other thing, and this will be good for the listeners as well. That thing about rolling out of bed, brushing your teeth, putting on some clothes, getting a couple of few strong coffees and getting on with the day, it's not the best way to start. Not at all. And I've done that so much, like up at 5, out of the house at 5:30, into the office at 6 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, I'm done. And I've got another 9 hours to go. So can you imagine the quality of work I was out that was being outputted? And the other bit was how much damage it was doing for me in them 9 hours. And then you get home. It's just like, here's the thing: you, if you can't do your work in 6 to 8 hours, right? 6 to 8 hours, maybe 5 to 8 hours, you're doing something wrong, and that's what I used to tell myself.
Yeah. And it's so true. Like, people say, "Oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead," or "I just need to get this last thing done." But actually, if you prioritize the sleep and the recovery, you'll be 10 times more productive in the hours that you do work, which means you'll get more done anyway. And that's
Yeah.
the thing that people is so backwards. People think that they need to stay up late and get the work done, but actually, a task that should take you half an hour, when you're tired and you're not productive and you're getting distracted and you're in a mood, it's going to take you 2 hours. So why
Mm.
not just spend that extra hour and a half resting, recovering, and then do the task in half an hour like it should take you? People don't seem to understand that concept.
Yeah, absolutely. But the distractions, the dopamine hits, the comfort, they're looking for they're heading towards comfort rather than discomfort. The discomfort is getting the work done. The comfort is what's going to make me feel warm and cozy, right? Let me go and get another coffee. Oh, let me quickly just ring it. Oh, what's going on WhatsApp? Oh, let me have a look at Insta. Guys, let's have a little scroll, a doom scroll down through Facebook. And it's all these little things.
Yeah.
So, just using like the Pomodoro timer, 25 minutes, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and then not the other way around, 5 minutes work, 25 minutes off. and just using these sort of things. And listen, I'm no angel. I'm sure you're not, right? Of course, sometimes we do get a bit distracted, or something comes in, or a challenging thing. But one thing I did learn really that was really valuable was we procrastinate when we got a task. So that's what actually chews up your days and also causes you stress. Is just start it. Like if it's an important, to just start it. Just because once you started it, you'll be surprised how quick it can be done or how easy it is. And often, it's like you worry about stuff that's not happened yet. Go
Yeah.
and do it. You know what I mean? Go and do it. And I had a couple of them this week, and I think they've turned into an amazing couple of wins for me. And it was to do like with a refinance on some property, really scratching my head, banging my head against the wall. Um, and then, and I thought, right. So I did a couple of emails to a couple of companies. I did the emails. I thought, send. I'm going, right, this is going to, and still wasn't mainly satisfied because I'm not had the answer. Within 24 hours, they come back with it. Then my broker rang, says, I don't know what you've done, but you've got rid of the problem. I said, I just sent 2 emails and that was it. And that's all the work I needed to do. I thought this was going to be 6 months and me being in court and solicitors and going, it was 2 emails. It was done.
Yeah. And I think that that's another thing, isn't it? And this rule applies to all areas of life with procrastination. I
Yeah.
apply the 5-minute rule to everything I do. If I really, really don't want to do it, I just have to do the first 5 minutes. 9 times out of 10, after the first 5 minutes, you're in the task, you're
Yeah.
enjoying it, you're locked in. Same with the gym, going for a walk, anything, just getting out of bed. Like the 5-minute rule. And then if you still don't want to do it after that first 5 minutes, I take that as a sign that I do actually need to step back and rest, because after you've got started, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
So I think over the last, I actually spoke to Alex about this, who I did podcast with a couple of weeks ago,
Mm.
and I said over the last 3-4 years I've been using this rule. I think I've only ever actually stopped the task I'm doing, which is normally at the gym, 3 times
Yeah.
after just applying the 5-minute rule. And I've had
It's
to use it quite a few times because getting up and going is not the easiest thing. But just turning up is all you have to do.
Yeah, I love the 5-minute rule. I don't use a 5-minute rule. What I do use though is a Mel Robbins 5 4 3 2 1.
Nice.
It's like real simple. Getting out of bed, and I'm one of these people for the 5 o'clock. So I do like to have a little snooze. It's just one of my little comforts, but it's not in my 5 to 8. My snooze actually, the alarm's set at 4:45.
Nice.
So then, is what I mean. So I know that them 3 hours, that's really rigid. That is like I'm done. Might go over a little bit on the 8, and I might be early, right? I might get out of bed anyway, but normally I'm out of bed. But it's that the minute that 5 o'clock thing is like 5 4 3 2 1 up,
Yeah.
and then get going. That 5 minute just start. Just like with the gym. But the best thing I say, just turn up.
Yeah.
When you don't want to just turn up. Even if you walk around that gym for 45 minutes, it was better than staying in your bed for 45 minutes. You just walked. And
100%.
who's going to come to the gym, right? Who's going to go to the gym and walk around the gym for 45 minutes? You're going to do something, right? You're going to do
Yeah.
something, even if it's light exercise. I'm not talking about the vendor machine, but but you're going to do something. And I normally here's the thing, hey, I've had when I didn't want to go to the gym, I didn't want to go and do my HIIT class, or didn't want to go and do my weight session, and I've just turned up. I've had my best sessions,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, I've gone there like tomorrow, and I normally train at the moment I'm training every single day because 75 hard. But normally, I normally have a Friday off. I do that with 75 hard because I have two good brisk walks, but they're quite taxing. But there's some days like Thursdays is a bugger, is a proper little bugger because like I've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I get there Thursday. I'm booked in. I get there and I'm going right. I really don't want to be here. I have my best sessions. And on the flip side of that, so I just repeated that. But on the flip side of that is that I've been really ready to go. Can't wait to get back, go there, and I can't hit a barn door with a shovel with my effort. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the same time, bad habits are formed when you when you miss it for more than 2 days.
Yeah.
So
And we spoke about this before we press record, actually, is that it's not about what you do on the good days, it's what you do on the bad days, because internally that's telling your brain something. So even if you did turn up and just walk around the gym for 45
Yeah.
minutes, you've proved to yourself that you will still go. And
Mm.
that's really, really important because the belief in ourselves is the biggest thing that breaks our habits. So making sure that you adhere to your own disciplines and do what you say you're going to do when no one's watching, that's the thing that's super important, and that
Really,
keeps going. Um, Obviously, your life has changed in different ways. You've come out of corporate, lots of stuff has happened in your personal life. You've had major changes happen in businesses. Your definition of success must have changed as life and responsibility has grown. Where would you say it's different now compared to what it used to be?
that's a damn good question. So, like, I've just turned 55 now. I know, I know. Way older than my metabolic age.
And you look about 20.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I agree. No, I'm joking. So I think as you get older and I get people are building wealth, etc. But even looking back in my 20s and 30s, I wish I'd spent a lot more time on my health and my habit stacking for the right reasons. Because through sort of my 30s and is there was some nasty health stuff going on as well. But because you're younger, you sort of punch through it. It catches up with you. So I'm doing a lot of correctional work at the moment, which is brilliant. I'm doing it, and I'm in like the back third of my life now, right? Hopefully longer, but I'm realistic. Like 55, I'm in the back third of it. Money's not everything. I know. It does give you more time, but and money is very important. Wealth is more important for right and creating that wealth side of it. So being very well money disciplined is really important. Also, the time spent with your loved ones very, very important, especially if you've got young kids and then everyone's working. I remember like my two oldest, I used to see them leave them when they were sleeping, and I'd leave for work when they're sleeping and come home. Guess what? They were sleeping, and I missed a lot of them. But I was blessed then to have another two children who are younger, and now I've got a little bit more time. And here's the thing: financially, I was earning really good money in corporate. It's actually sort of a little bit lower now. So it's amazing what you don't need and what I'm valuing more so much more at the moment. Do I want to be a multi-millionaire and jet setting? No, that's like it's going to be good for somebody. It's not for me. I love time. I love people. I love habit stacking. I love doing self improvement, self development, and I love helping develop other people as well, and not always for a reward or any form of compensation. Just it's just a nice feeling to see people progress, move on, move their needle forward, become the best version of them as well. And I guess that's what I'm trying to attain for myself, because it's the first time in probably last 7 8 years that I've really started to do that. What's the best version of me, and like even with aesthetically on the outside, but also up here from checking up from the neck up, but also from the neck downwards, like losing weight, feeling better, training better. At 55, this is probably the best shape I've been in my adult life.
Well, and I know that you've been on a real journey to get there as well, and you've stuck with it. And one of the things that I think I've always noticed about you is you are a giver. You always offer people advice. You're definitely happy to help people. I mean, that's why you got the mentor's choice from Mastermind with Property
Yeah,
Entrepreneur, right? Is because
that's lovely.
everyone values you because you light up the room. But equally, being that person that lights up the room can be quite hard, and it can be quite taxing mentally because you then feel like you have this thing to uphold of, well, I'm the person that people think is happy, so I need to turn up as this person.
Yeah.
And I know over the last year, you are doing a lot more check-ins with yourself, a lot more self-development work, and you just generally seem so much calmer and happier. And you and Tracy have got stuff sorted out in terms of responsibilities for businesses, which I know made a massive difference as well. So yeah, you've managed to juggle business, family, leadership all very, very well and
Yeah.
learn as you go, which I think definitely deserves a commendation. I say it,
I'll
commendation.
take it. A commendation, I'll take it. Yeah, it is right. You know, you've got to change. Change is good as the rest. It's there's always a better version of yourself, but it all starts with Atomic Habits. I'm not plugging the book, but the book is a damn good book. And it all
It is.
starts with teeny weeny little atomic habits that you stack up, and then bang, there's your explosion of great progress.
And they've gotta be easy enough as well that you can't fail. That's the key, is it make them so easy that you can't fail. Because people that try and add 10 habits into their day-to-day life immediately, that are all not stuff that they've ever done before, they're not stacked onto anything else, that's why they
Mhm.
fail. You're setting yourself up for failure. Dan Hill says success and failure are very predictable, and so why not make it predictable and make it success?
Just do enough of the right things. It's just like, and it's the 80/20. You were talking about 80/20, weren't you? For with your strategy for this year, it just makes sense. Look, just make sure 80% of the week you are on your game, and the other 20, just be modest with it. Don't
Yeah,
kill it. Don't, I mean, just you don't ruin 80%, but just be modest with it. You know,
yeah,
treat yourself, etc.
yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I think it's very, very important that the habits, that it's like anything, you know, on New Year's Eve, oh, I'll have these last beers, you get in at 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up, and then on New Year's Eve, you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do these 20 things. And then the next day you wake up, oh, I promise myself, I'll ring up the gym, get the gym membership. I'm going to eat clean. It's Saturday. I'm going to eat clean. It's the first day of the month. I'll tell you what, it's Saturday. I'll wait until Monday, right? And then I'll go to the gym I'll go to the gym for the whole of January, absolutely kill it, and then don't turn up in February and the rest of the year.
What I noticed very, very often when you just said about "Oh, it's Saturday, so I'll just start Monday." I used to see this on the tools all the time when I was working for clients, is everyone has these imaginary deadlines. So it's like,
Mm.
"Oh, I have to get that done by the end of the school holidays," or "I've got to get it done before Christmas." And it's like, where have these deadlines come from? Inadvertently puts pressure on other people. It puts pressure on yourself when it's not important stuff that needs doing. If it's important, yes, we add deadlines, it gets stuff done. We know that. But why do we always have these imaginary deadlines for, "Oh, well, actually, the week starts Monday, so I'm not going to start anything until that day."
Yeah.
It is so random that we do that.
One of my best examples I'll give you of that, and like, I do that. I was doing, these imaginary, lines in the sand, deadline dates, and I'll do. It's the epitome of procrastination when you're putting these deadline. And it all started. It was me and you. We were talking at the Belfry, weren't we, that evening? And Ian Bowie and John Woodman came out. These are board members of Proton Entrepreneur. I was having a chat then, and me and Ian were having a deep and meaningful about 75 hard. And I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to do it. And yeah, I really wanted to do it. Sorry, that's my cat. Would you believe it? Uh, it's the loudest cat in the world. You think I've got a Rottweiler? Um, It's like, this is life, right? This is life. This is what
It
happens in
is.
entrepreneurship. Um, and then was talking, and I've told you the story, and he was talking about it. And Ian's real driven. He's like marathon runner. I've got max respect for that man. He's a real go getter, and I love his style. And I know he's massive with discipline as well. You need to go and run 6, 7 marathons around the world, and and this was how the conversation went. I won't do the blasphemy, but in conversation, he goes, "So you're going to do 75 hard?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm committed to it. We've been speaking at the Nottingham retreat all weekend. I'm geared up for it. Let's do it." When you're doing it, well, I'll probably start after Christmas. Now, the reason for that was I had 3 months of habit stacking, and I've done really well with it. Lost about 4 or 5 kilos. I was really getting my habits done, and I thought, let me go and enjoy Christmas a little bit more so. I thought that because I'd been so clean for 3 months from sort of September to December, and this is when we met him in December, that I would then go, okay, I'll let me head down, enjoy it with the family. We can have some beers with the family, with Trace and the elder kids, have some chocolate, have a little bit of dessert, etc. Just everything in modesty. And he just turned around and said to me, "Start it tomorrow." Right? I said, "Huh?" And this was on the, I think this was on the 8th or 9th of December. 8th or 9th of December. Sorry, this was before the retreat, 8th or 9th of our event. And so it was really, and he goes, he goes, "Well, if you're going to do it after Christmas, so you might as well do it now. Start it tomorrow. Start it tomorrow." He's not pointing his finger at me. He's like, "Do it tomorrow." I'm like, I'm going, blimey, okay. So anyway, lovely conversation, as you know, like, then we went to retreat. Then we went to the retreat and was talking about 75 hours. And then I come back from retreat, which was on like the Monday evening. I said, I said to Tracy, "I need to speak to you on the Tuesday." And I sat her down and says, "Look, I know I've been doing this thing and been really clean, and you've been super supportive when when you needed to. But I was gonna let you know, I'm gonna do this is on the 16th of December. I'm gonna do 75 hard, which you know all the elements of it, right? Two workouts, 4 liters of water a day, strict, good, healthy food plan, no alcohol, reading books, selfies, etc." And and I looked at her. She looked at me and she goes, "Oh, I'll do it with you." And then that was it. It was simple. Do you know when you say, just say it and just get on
Yeah.
with it? Just like, and that was it. And then I went through the whole of Christmas, no chocolates, no booze, no roast potatoes, just really clean. And it was fantastic. And, just getting it done. But it all started off with small habits, and, and don't put these pretend deadlines in. Just get, just get shit done, right? Like,
Mm.
here's it. Just going to go back one more for the listeners as well. Um, is that understand you got to do your own deep thinking. What do you want, right? Because if your want isn't, or your why isn't strong enough, it's not going to pull you through. So really understand, like, if you want to do these things, if you want to be your best self and the best version of yourself, what do you need to do? What does that look like? I have that. I always have this image from 2-3 years ago of Fit by 55. My Fit by 55 started 2 or 3 years ago, and it started off with small habits, me falling off the wagon, off the tracks, me having the courage to get back onto the tracks, building these small habits, getting round a orbit of people who are like-minded. I've got you, we've got our masterminders, we've got PE. I see, I'm probably speaking to you guys more than I'm speaking to my own best friends, who I love dearly. But, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. When I've got Katie Harvey in my orbit, you know, we're both like-minded. We both want to. We both understand, even at your young age and my young age. Do you like that?
You're younger than me.
Not really. But but yeah, I don't look as young as you. But all these small habits and the learnings we teach each other from best practice. It's not like we're talking about how many beers we drank the weekend, right? It's
Yeah.
like how we getting our best sleep to develop our bodies so that we can push on. So all these conversations, what to eat, how to sleep, what's the best books to read, what's the best podcast to read, it's so valuable. It's so valuable. So surrounding yourself with Katie Harveys, you will do yourself an absolute justice in life.
And
Absolute.
an Ian Bower, because they get you to get
And
it done.
Ian Bower, yeah, Ian Bower. But there's loads of them. I can reel off 20, 30 people. I got on stage on an open mic. I said, it's the love and support you get. And being in a room where actually your goals are actually the smallest really elevate you as well, because it really pushes you on. Getting on to Breathe. I've seen you grow Breathe. Tracy's been on Breathe, not massively involved, but the habit stacks and the stuff she's doing is totally commendable. And stuff that you're teaching Tracy is really paying dividends. Like, especially like habits where sleep was a big one. Sleep, self-care, just small little habits. And then once Tracy's got more shoes than a shoe shop, and her shoes are all over the shop, all over the house, right? There's like shoes there, shoes there, shoes there. All of a sudden, because one of my habits is you're not going to see no more shoes. So all of a sudden, I don't see all of the shoes. But there's all these small things because what you do is all this tidying up. The way how you do something is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So if you've got a cluttered desk and you've got shoes everywhere, or your cupboards and your wardrobes all over the shop and disorganized, you've got clutter everywhere. Guess what's happening in your mind? Utter clutter. So declutter life, and then you'll declutter your mind. And once you declutter your mind, your visualization and your how you look at things and how you want to be becomes a lot more clear and gives you a much better clarity. Yeah,
100%. I
yeah,
think that is the perfect way to round this off,
yeah.
actually. I think that was a really nice close. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective so openly. These conversations exist to normalize experiences that many people go through quietly as life and responsibility grow. If we've spoken about anything that feels familiar, that doesn't mean something is wrong. It just means that you're starting to pay attention. You can find more conversations like this through Breathe. And if you want to understand where you're currently operating, you can take the scorecard at www.breatheblueprint.com. And Rupen, if anyone wants to reach out to you, how can they get hold of you?
Yeah, they can get me on my email, which is Rupen, Rupen at master mastar.co.uk, or on Facebook, Rupen Patel, or on Instagram, it's Rupen Patel Property.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure.
More than welcome. Fantastic chat, and thank you very much.